we got to talk about the LSU quarterback battle. It is QB1 reveal season right now. You got Jayden Daniels going for it. You got Garrett Nussmeier going for it. And it is anybody's race. Brian Kelly had a press conference yesterday, and he said it is close. If we took a vote in this room right now, you could probably get 50-50. So they're very close to picking a starter. We just got to talk about the evaluation of both these guys. And we also got to talk about what gives you the best chance to win going forward, because that's what Brian Kelly is going to look at. So we're going to kind of solve that like an algebra equation. But Jayden Daniels, the notes on him are, hey, tons of ability, really good athlete. We saw some suspect things from him a year ago at Arizona State. 10 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Is he able to be the passer that they need him to be for them to be successful? But Jayden Daniels is the guy that it sounds like they're sort of leaning towards right now because of his legs. More on that in a minute, but Jayden Daniels, a guy that they are obviously excited about. They brought him to LSU. I don't think they brought him to LSU to just sit and hold a clipboard, but he's still got to win the job, and Brian Kelly is going to play the best guy. Make no mistake about it. Garrett Nussmeier was originally, to my understanding, before this whole race even started, was on the outside looking in. Miles Brennan, a guy with tons of experience, was told, I guess it was a week or so ago, a little bit more than that, was told, hey, you're not going to be the guy. He says, thank you so much. I think I'm going to step away from football. And that's not a knock on Miles Brennan as much as I think it is a credit to Garrett Nussmeier. Because Garrett Nussmeier, by all accounts, has just continued to do the right things. Just has put his head down and worked. Was given awards for the way that he worked in the weight room, the way that he went about his nutrition, from the summer strength conditioning program. So he's a guy that they're excited about for the future, also insanely competitive. That's the other note that you get whenever you talk about somebody in Garrett Nussmeier. They just tell you, dude loves to compete. And that is crucial if you're going to lead a football team into battle as the quarterback. So when it comes to this battle for LSU, I think we need to treat it like an algebra equation, meaning we need to get to the answer and then solve for why. What is required of this football team? What is required for them to be successful at LSU in 2022? And we're going to solve for why, which is ultimately going to be the quarterback. Take a look at this. Brand new offensive line. So what does that tell you? You probably need somebody who can compensate. Whether that's getting the ball out quick, more than likely that means being able to escape pressure. Because how many of you know when you're breaking in some new big boys to that job, it might take a second for them to get synced up. So being able to take off and run and turn a sack into 4 yards, turn a sack into a first down, even to run out of a sack and throw it away, that's enormous. It cannot be overstated how important that is for your football team. In addition to that, the offensive coordinator, Mike Denbrock, he historically likes to call an offense for a dual threat quarterback. This is sounding more and more like it's taking shape, right? Jayden Daniels, if we're just solving for why in this equation of the LSU quarterback battle, fits the bill. Great runner, great athlete, can help erase some mistakes that this offensive line is going to make early on, is going to potentially have a more natural fit with the way the offense is called just from a base level. They're going to tailor the offense to whoever it is, but at a base level, Jayden Daniels fits that mold for what they historically would want in a quarterback. Now, here's my question. If Jayden Daniels is the guy who starts for you game one, is that his job or is that his role? Let me say it like this. Is it a marriage? Or is that more so a, hey, let's see where this thing goes. Let's see how Jayden Daniels does in game one. Yeah, we might need somebody to run around. We might need somebody to evade pressure to get out of a sack. Let's see where this thing goes. Or is it Jayden Daniels, it's your offense, you're our leader, let's roll. Garrett Nussmeier, we appreciate you. We may need you at some point in the year if Daniels goes down, but Jayden Daniels is your job, this is your team. Two very different conversations, two very different headspaces for a quarterback to be in, two very different headspaces for a coaching staff to be in. Because my belief is you play Jayden Daniels game one for all the reasons we've mentioned, but it's not a marriage. It's not locked in. In fact, I'd be surprised if we don't see Garrett Nussmeier get some run early in the year. What I could very realistically see happening, and I've talked about this before on this program, it may be a matter where they just play the hot hand, and as this team develops, as this run game and the offensive line develops, you play the guy who's moving the offense the best. And with my own two eyes, from what I've been able to see, which is not behind closed doors, but from the spring game and from what I've heard, Garrett Nussmeier adds a new element to this offense vertically. You got Kayshon Boutte on the outside, one of, if not the best receiver in the country. He might be too good to leave off the field as this team matures. Now, how quickly does that happen? Another thing to talk about, but I think it's worth at least mentioning that I don't think this is set in stone if Jayden Daniels is your starter game one. So again, I'll say I think Jayden Daniels starts the year, but I think Garrett Nussmeier by game 8 has the LSU quarterback job. That's just how I feel about it. Either way, it sounds like they feel good about going forward with either of those guys. And two ways to look at that. If you have two quarterbacks, you have none, or you just have two quarterbacks, you make it hard on the coaching staff. That's how I think you would prefer to look at it if you're a fan in Baton Rouge. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.